How's it going, everyone? It is Matthew, founder of Perfect Flow. Um, we are going to be building out some real estate wholesaler workflows with AI lead qualifiers. Um, that's really This is all part of a series, right? So the last video was us building a landing page with a form, trying to convert sellers. And now we're going to be building out our automated workflows with AI agents that are going to be qualifying our sellers for us. Um, and then the next video, we're going to be basically testing the AI and changing it up. Um, so that we perfect it, right? Um, let's get to it. Right here, we have our workflow builder, and let's just start at the top here. Okay, we're gonna change the name. We're gonna do um, we'll we buy homes form, since that was the name of our site. All right, and when we first start a workflow here, you have to have a trigger. All right, and our trigger, this workflow is um, pretty self-explanatory. It is when they fill out our form. Okay, so let's see if I can just find it here. Form submitted. All right, now we will. The form is we buy homes form. Sweet. Trigger the workflow. So now, once the form is submitted, it triggers this workflow. It'll send the user right in here. All right. Now let's maybe do like a little wait, so that when they submit it, it's the AI is just not texting right away. So let's do I'm just like, even like, I just maybe a 5 minute wait, you know. Um, and we really want this to be going on. We want this to text to be sending on Sundays, Saturdays, whatever, right? And we really want um yeah, let's just do it all, because the idea here is just to have, right, someone fills out the form, they're interested in sending their home. The AI is going to immediately um, basically reply and start asking questions. And so let's get this going at, let's see, 9 a.m. to, yeah, we'll just go 24 hours. Like, start from 9 a.m. and at, well, I think we would actually, before I mess this up, I could be, let's do that. Or you know what? We'll just turn this off, and we're going to change this in the settings, guys. All right. That's what we're going to do. I'm just going to save it real quick. All right. Let's go to save settings here. In the settings, you basically get to edit some things that kind of happen all over the workflow. So, for example, um, what time zone do you want the communication to be going? Right now, it's just account time zone, or you could do the context time zone. That's helpful if you want to only have messages maybe being sent out during your business hours. And then here, allow reentry. So I usually have allow reentry on. So this basically allows the contact to reenter if it leaves the workflow. Sometimes I do that, just it doesn't really ever really happen, honestly, but you never know. And I'd rather them go through the workflow, then lose them. Now, there could be times when you're like, I never want them to ever go through this workflow again. Don't allow reentry. But I would also do that after you're done testing, because a lot of times things, if you're using your own contact or something, um, and you have this no allow you have it turned off, not allowing reentry, you're going to be the workflow is not going to work for you if you're kind of recycling yourself through it, testing it out. So leave that on, but then turn it off maybe when you are ready to go live with it. Allow multiple opportunities. Just depending on what you're trying to do. Opportunities is basically like your kind of pipelines. And, for wholesaling, I'll do, basically they're a cold lead unless they're inbound lead. So if they fill out a form, they'll get tagged new lead, which I'll do here in just a little bit. They'll get tagged, and then from there on, I know that they're a lead, right? And they'll show up on my board. Now, if they are interested in selling, if they book appointment, if like I'll demonstrate here, we'll scale or we'll basically create a scale to know how serious the buyer, or sorry, seller is. You can do this for buyer, obviously, as well. And then stop on response. So because we're doing AI, we don't really want to have this stop the workflow for them if they reply. If it's there are several times you will want the workflow to stop if someone replies, but on this particular one, we don't want to have that on. Time window, we don't have a time window, right? So restrict actions from being set outside windows. That's what I was kind of messing around with those settings there. In the back end here, you can basically make it so that there's never any weekends that are, texts or things are going out. But since this is just replying right away to the person whoever just filled out the form, we're just gonna leave it. We want them to be able to get the text from the AI as soon as they fill out the form. Now, mark is read. I do this a lot. So basically, if you toggle this, the conversations in the workflow will be marked as read, and that's nice when because what will happen is if you have like emails going out in the same workflow, you'll see, and let's say you guys were chatting between text, AI, or whatever, it'll show up in your conversation section, but it'll also show you every single time an email is going out and stuff. And so it's it can get you can mess with that in the filter in the conversations, but it's nice just to mark as read, because it's kind of your communications can get really bogged down with unread messages, kind of thing. Enrollment history, this is where we're going to be seeing people as they come in, what stage they are, things like that. And this is execution logs. We'll be able to see basically what, it's nice for us to troubleshoot here, right? So we can kind of see what happened to a user if they, went down a certain branch, and we can follow them down that branch and kind of figure out what happened, and make some fixes. Okay. Okay, we have our weight. Let's go ahead and make sure that we assign a tag, right? So they filled out the form, they're a lead in. Let's where's the tag? I usually just search for things, honestly. Add contact tag. We're gonna do new lead. Okay. And then they're just going to wait for 5 minutes before we get to the conversation AI. That is down here. Now, when we are building out our AI, we can build out an AI employee that can be texting, and it texts everyone. That AI employee is trained to do whatever, right? But it can text, it can do Facebook chat, it can do website chat, it could do all sorts of things. But that one bot, if you give it power to text, and then you're trying to make this bot, and this bot has a different goal than the other bot, you're gonna want to have it custom. Okay, we're gonna want some custom personality and rules, because this is it's every bot is different, especially when you're lead qualifying. All right, so with this bot is going to be different lead qualifier than a cold outreach bot. Okay, um, so with this one, I'm going to say, um, like, let's say, for example, all right, well, here, let's just start editing this. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, and I can ramble, so I just need to focus and get this built so you guys can see how it's done, huh? All right, so really, this is for our company, right? Because we're on our demo account here. So you are highly, well, let's just say, you are an exceptional acquisitions manager for We Buy Homes. All right. You're an exceptional acquisition manager for We Buy Homes. Now, what I usually do with these prompts is I have let's see, if I think I might need to make it in this account, actually. Yeah, so we'll have to go back and make it, which is good, because you guys should learn how to do that too. So what I like to do is use custom values instead of having to, it's like, it's a kind of a pain to do this for every bot. You copy and paste and whatnot, but you're going to want to edit your bot as time goes on, as it's having conversations. You're going to want to train your bot more. And to do that on all the different conversation bots that you're going to have, it's going to be a big pain in the butt. All right. So what I'd like to do is just kind of we'll make our first prompts here. Then we'll go back, make some custom values, plug those custom values in all the other bots so that it's all the same prompts. And it's going to make it a lot easier for you when you go back and try to edit any of the conversation bots that you have. So for the personality bot, usually this is pretty, it's generic, and it's actually not too bad. Because what this does is, hey, it makes the bot ask a single question, right? And if the user has a specific business query about, it is We Buy Homes. And I hate that referred to our wiki. No, we're just going to say website. And then this is huge, because this prompt right here: be persistent. If the customer is not interested, get them to stay and continue to talk. You can only give them three times. Keep the conversation around the script question. So basically, this is how this works out really good for objection handling. This little part of the prompt. I've messed around with this, but if you keep that in, the objection handling is actually pretty decent for just the default setting here. Now, conversation rules. This is where really you're going to be training it on how or what you'd like to say. So, for example, all this stuff is, again, pretty good. It's just helping it make it sound a little bit more human, under 20 words. I mean, I like even shorter, to be honest, because 20 words in a text can actually be quite a bit. So let's just do 10 and see how that goes. Try to mirror the prospect's manner, phrasing, how they talk. That's great. All this stuff is great, right? Because it's like AI can sound pretty robotic-y or just kind of fake. So these are great to kind of make it sound more human, right? What to say and what not to say. This is probably the most important part, because if you have like maybe spreadsheets of all your guys' different conversations that you've had, maybe you could copy paste, you know, text messages or emails that you've had with, um, sellers. Definitely, you could put those types of examples here. So for one, I would say, so here we also have examples of poor reply. I really just I don't do that much. I mean, you can. I usually just try to go for just telling it what to do. It's almost like when you are, and now I don't think AI, it just kind of adds more confusion. I think if you tell it to do one thing and not this, but if you just told it to do this thing, it's just singular, right? It's just one thing it needs to be focusing on. It's not worried about um, not doing something. So I would, let's think of a question that we get a lot, or pushback. Let's say if or here, and another thing, the way you're structuring prompts. I mean, you want to kind of organize it like this because it helps the AI organize what you're trying to say and do. Um, so let's say, oh right. Give me if do they what how do they call it recipient? I always say recipient. Let's say what not to say. Um let's make this separate then. All right. We're gonna do um sample Q&A. All right, and it's gonna be question or recipient. I'm gonna say all right, we'll do recipient says, give me an offer. All right. Uh, yeah, we'll just do that. And it'll be basically here. How I usually handle these. It's like something like, I'd love to give you a offer now, but our underwriting team needs to do more research on your property. Would you like to schedule a call with and I go back and forth. Sometimes I say acquisitions manager. Call with, I'm going to do agents on this one, mixing it up. Would you like to schedule a call with one of, all right, not that's fine. And the other one I get a lot is well, what about, okay, well, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this here, and then what we'll do is we'll test it. and then I'll show you how we just keep adding on to this, because that's the thing is, when I was going to put in, when they say like, no F off or something like that, which since they're putting in the form, you're not going to get a lot of that. They're expecting you to hit them up. But, when things like that happen, you got to come in, and this is where you tweak the prompt so that the AI just gets better at what it does. Okay. Now, the question part is really important because this is uh, the whole purpose of the AI here. This is their only objective. And that's why when we're lead qualifying, we break it down in steps. People try all the time to make like one AI bot, one employee that tries to do lead qualifying. You're going to end up with a lot of loops. The AI will kind of get stuck and just not move on to the next step. Whereas with this way, you're breaking the steps down one at a time. So the AI has one micro um, goal that it's trying to achieve. And when it's built like that, the success rate is much better. Okay. So with this, I'm going to say, well, first, hi, let's do contact, first name. Hi, first name. Thank you for, oh, geez. Sending details about your property. Our team is looking into it now. Man, I misspell everything, I swear. And why is that capped? See, I do this kind of stuff all the time. All right. Thank you for sending details about your property. Our team is looking into it now. What's our question? What do we want to know? What do we want to get out of them? Because right now we know that they want to sell their property. At least, they're thinking about it. They're mulling it over. They filled out the form. That's good enough to know. So what I like to do is, well, okay, for one, we can gather details about their property. Like for example, right, our form, they submit the address, but you could have the form that's just, name, email, send, make it super easy, increase conversion rates. And then have the AI basically hear you to ask them, hey, just wondering if you, um, or no, sorry. You'd be like, yeah, thanks for submitting the form. Where is your property? Where is the home? Can you send us the address? And then that's where the conversation can carry on and start. But for us, we already have the address. Let's maybe put it in there because that also, the more details that are like personal, the better response rate you're going to get because it doesn't sound so cold and stuff. So, hi, contact name. Thank you for sending us details about your property. Let's go. Property in. Let's do just like the city because they put in their address and it updates their contact field. So we'll just do city. And city, our team is looking into it now. So now I'm going to ask, basically what I want to know is the reason for selling, I'm just going to ask, well, I'm just going to say, I'm going to ask a few questions to help us get you a better offer, or no, we'll say best offer possible. All right. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask a few questions to help us get you a better the best. Get you the best. Jeez, I cannot type today, man. All right. I'm going to ask a few questions to help us get you the best offer possible. Why are you thinking about selling? And this helps. Again, we can ask these types of things on a form, but the more questions you add onto the form, the longer the form, the bigger, larger the reason not to fill it out, so you're going to have a lot less conversion rates. And so with our strategy here, we're trying to increase conversion rates and then use AI as our lead qualifiers, because then we're building up relationships. Because I always look at every touch is really about the follow-up. It's really about, okay, yeah, most of the time, right? Because most people you actually talk to, you don't get a deal. But if again, if they're not wanting to really make a deal now, 3 months, 6 months, a year, maybe. So now's your opportunity to really build a relationship with them. And our goal is to get on the phone. The goal is to get on the phone, but we really only want to get on the phone with, the best possible leads right now, right? We don't want to waste our time with leads that we know aren't really serious for selling. So why are you thinking about selling? That's fine. And at this point, I just want them to respond. I just want them to answer a question, and so we can go deeper down the rabbit hole. And again, this is all I'm just doing this as an example. And you could go down the rabbit hole like crazy and really make this insane. But I'm just giving you the 101 here on how to do this, and how to do it so that it is working and functional and all that. Timeout. I'll do a day. Well, let's think about it. This is a form. They didn't send it. So, well, we're going to send them an email too anyway. So let's go. We'll do a day, and then we'll follow up again on text. And we are chatting on text now. Of course, you can have the AI be chatting on whatever, but of course, we have their phone number, so we will be chatting with them via text. We're not going to skip the first one, so we are definitely going to be getting this one here. Bot response time. Well, I like to, so I you don't want to be super quick, but you don't want to be too slow. If you're like spending a couple minutes, then you risk them, because if you're texting back and forth with someone, it's pretty quick. It's, hey, how's it going? Hey, blah blah blah, do. But it's right. It's not. You have to have it feel like the same amount of time a human's typing. So we're gonna say 5 seconds. That could be fine. I'm gonna just do 10 to make it a little bit longer. Oh, I'm sorry. That's supposed to be down here. I got ahead of myself. So this is response limit. So I usually just crank this up. I don't care how many times. A lot of times, if you're like dealing with massive volumes, you might want to keep this down. Or you just, because the AI can just sit there and chat away forever if you wanted it to. But because it's a question, and we already have it in the prompt, like ask it, at least try 3 times. It's not gonna, I've never had it go crazy, right? I do see it go crazy when it's the AI bot that's kind of trained all over the place, like the AI employee, which maybe that's a different video. That is definitely a different video, but that can definitely just be a chatty catty and carry on conversations like crazy. But with these, you don't have that problem as much, especially since we're lead qualifying. We got question, we got steps to go to next after that. Wait time in seconds. I thought 5 seconds was kind of odd. I'll do, we'll just leave it at 10. Sure, that's fine. All right, so condition. So it's going to start off with no condition met. Timeout. So this is the timeout condition after it's 1 day. So they sit here at the conversation level for a day. If they don't respond back, they'll go down this branch here. So this next branch is, we're just going to say answered question. All right. And we'll say recipient answered the question on why they want to sell. All right. And then we want out. And this is going to be recipient texted out. So when you first text somebody on the platform, it's going to have, text out to unsubscribe. That has to be on all the messages, or else carriers will put you in the doghouse. So I also, pro tip here, if you have it say stop, that's going to send flags to the carriers, and you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna get in trouble. All right. So I do out, and people, they text out. I take them off the list. You got to take them off the list, or else you're gonna you could get in trouble. You can get lawsuits, all types of miserable stuff. So definitely take them out, and I'll show you how to do that here. I also have another workflow that's just an out workflow, so that anytime any recipient on any workflow on the platform says out, gets them right off, and we can't text them anymore. All right. So here we'll save. Oh, of course. So okay, duh. So this is also why we build out these in um, uh, sorry, custom values, because you could put more details in there, and this isn't a problem. But there's a 300 word limit here, and you don't. And really, when I train AI, I really, again, I like, this is all fine and dandy. It's a little bulky, but I really just try to keep it as like, if, kind of like quick responses. Like, if they say this, say something like this. If they say something like this, say something like this. That's the best way to train the AI. And so over time, as you see it having conversations with people, and you're like, oh, that sounded weird, you can go in and just kind of copy paste that the question and the AI response, and just change it so that they don't repeat that again. So I'm just gonna take some stuff here. I'm gonna take out, again. I'm not a huge the poor reply to me. I never I haven't experienced if you're just positive, like, hey, do this, do that, to me, that's enough. If you go, I've only seen, if you do like, do this and not this, I've only seen confusions. That's all. You know what I mean? It just gives the AI more to basically think about and try to decide. So I try to just do this. Of course, if it's something super important, serious, you can definitely do however you want. But yeah, anyways, all right, let's save that. Okay. Save workflows, always save. You never want to lose it. So as you can see, conversation AI branches off into these different branches here. So now let's go timeout. We will, let's send them. Let's make sure we send them an email. How about that? I don't have a template or anything built out. So you could have templates that are built out, and that makes it super easy to just be sending those emails out. But for this, we're just gonna write it in here. So it's gonna be, and really, right. So they just filled out the form. So this is gonna be an email that's just saying, "Hey, thanks. You got your details. We'll be in touch real soon." And maybe we'll send this. Well, here, this is a good lesson here, anyways. So we'll go, you could put the email address or whatnot. I always recommend using a dedicated domain. If you're sending a buttload of emails, use an IP. But really, it's just, dedicated domain's huge. And, I could definitely help you guys out. Warming up those emails is helpful. I notice that does help ensure that they get into the inboxes. But again, if you're doing it with good behavior, it's not all just like cold emails. Your email, it should be all right. You should be good. Subject, we're just gonna say, we got your details. So this is where you'd select templates. We don't have anything on the sample account yet. We're gonna do first name. Thank you for filling out our form at We Buy Homes. We will look into this and be in touch ASAP. And maybe we just say, hey, we're going to be sending you a text here in a little bit, right? Because maybe if we send this quite a bit, we can kind of warn them and hey, thanks for filling out the form. We'll be texting you some additional questions real soon. We'll look into this and be in touch ASAP. We'll send you a text very soon to gather more details about your property. If you have any questions, I'm not a fast typer, so forgive me. If you have any questions, feel free to reply here, or just feel free to reply, dude. Yeah, that's fine. This is just fun. We're just having fun. I like to do user signature here. So when you create profile, you basically have a signature that you can attach to all the different emails and whatnot. So it has, your name and your email and your phone number, all that good stuff. Signature there. We could do, just for an example, if you have any questions, feel free to reply or schedule a time to chat. All right, and then let's add that user calendar. So if you have several team members, they could all have their own calendar link. I like to put the calendar link in the email signature. That's pretty awesome too. But yeah, anyways, so there you go. There's our first email. I'm going to save it. We're going to move it. So this is how you move. We just want to move this action and we're going to move it here. So they get a tag. They're going to get that email. Then they're going to wait for like 5 minutes and then they're going to get this text. All right. Should I do custom values? Yeah, let's do this. All right. So I'm just going to leave the personality the same for now. I'll just take these rules, right? Let's just take these rules. I'm just doing this for an example. I'll just do a separate video on AI prompting because that could be a whole different tutorial there. But let's go ahead, make sure we save. We copied that. Beautiful. Let's get out of here. Let's move me out of the way, and I'm just going to go there. Let's go to custom values. All right. So I am going to. So I like to organize things in folders. Let's go ahead and start doing that. We're going to say AI prompts and personalities. Okay. Create. And because I like to, and again, you have so many different bots that you can be having, right? So there's, for example, disposition. You know, it's good to have inbound and outbound. You know, you have an inbound for people that are typing in about the property on Facebook. You have an inbound bot for filling out forms that they're interested, whatever. Outbound is going to be different because outbound is going to be probably hitting up realtors, texting realtors saying, "Hey, I got this property here and there and the other. Do you think you have any buyers?" Blah blah blah. So, or just investors, right? You're blasting it out to investors. Those bots are going to be, they're going to be different. They have different goals. They're talking to different clientele, different people. So, you're going to have a lot of different personalities and a lot of different prompts. So it's nice to keep it as organized as possible. All right, so let's add a custom value. And just so you understand what a custom value is, it's basically a way for us to have some sort of value that is basically consistent. We could put everywhere. So, for example, this is going to be prompt. So this is going to be, hey, I'm going to acquisition form. That's what I'm just going to call this. Form. And we'll just copy our yeah, oh well. Yeah, I'm not the brightest. All right, so here we go. Let's move on. Let's get back to our workflow. And what did we call our workflow again? Of course, everyone's like, there, AI conversation example. No, we don't need that. So appointment confirmation. Oh, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked now. But again, it's great. Once we'll go into this because once they book, we'll get this triggered so that they're getting reminders of the upcoming call that we're going to be having with them. We Buy Homes Farm. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So now we go in here. Oh, we're going to delete it. We are going to put in custom value. So we have two here. We want the AI prompts, personalities, acquisition form. So that is our AI right there. Okay. Now, let's move me back over here. All right. So let's do the timeout. So this is where you can really go crazy as far as like how long do you want to be reaching back out to this person. Now, what I do is I basically say, okay, this is our first touch, and we're trying to. It's hot, right? The iron's hot. They just filled out the form. We really want to get a hold of them and understand their situation, and see how we can help them and make a deal, right? So with that, I always do these pretty close. Like we're going to be hitting them up every day for a little bit, and then we'll put them off into longer workflows, right? Smaller workflows, because I like to make the smaller the workflow, the easier it is to manage, the easier it is to go in and edit and mess around with things and not get too crazy. Because it just becomes a beast, and I can show you guys different things that will make your life a lot easier. But that's my biggest, piece of advice. Keep your workflows as short as possible, and just make more of them. You could say, "Hey, this is it now. So move out. All right, you didn't talk to this AI. Move on to the next one. Go to the next AI bot or whatever, next workflow. But I'm going to keep it in this workflow for now. Another tip too. Now this is for cold outreach. When you're doing a cold outreach campaign, right? People don't even know what you're doing or who you are, and you're just blasting text out to them. I will make about 4 to 5 different conversations. We'll split this up and make 4 to 5 different conversations so that the texts are completely different and they're all going out at different times. So, and each workflow is assigned a different number. So you're going to have several workflows. It can get really crazy again. So keep it simple, stupid. That's what I recommend. But let's just say they timed out. Okay, they're like, yeah, not they didn't reply. That's all that means. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit them up with another text, or we can do ringless voicemail. Ringless voicemails are great because it just goes right to the inbox, and it kind of helps them. Let's do that. We'll throw that in there, and then we'll also text them too, like double whammy. Again, marketing is all about not not. All right, picking it up. My bad. It glitched out on me and ended the video. So we'll just pick up where I just left off. I'll do some editing magic, and that'll be great. All right. So we have the ringless voicemail, and I think what would probably be better if we sent the text, and then the voicemail would be something like, hey, Joe Bob, I was just calling to follow up. I sent you a couple texts. I haven't heard anything, right? Kind of reference the point of contact already. I think that's the way to go, because maybe they're just not texters. Maybe they put in a landline, and so your texts aren't even going out. That could be happening too. That's why we definitely send the email out to them. The thing is, with the ringless voicemail, we just want them to be like, hey, check out the text me back, because we don't really want them to call us unless we have our AI voice set up and it's going to take the call for us and do some lead qualifying there. But if we don't, then we're gonna, you don't want to be lead qualifying on the phone. The whole reason why we're building this is that AI is doing everything for you. All right. Let's do another conversation AI. You could just do this too. Well, yeah, easy button. We go. I like to also maybe put the questions in there so you know what. So we're just copying this action. We're going to copy here, and the RVM is going to move. Move here, and we'll do like a short timeout of just like minutes. We'll do like if they haven't responded to the text in maybe 60 minutes, sure, then we'll send them this RVM. All right. Now we see, so we already have this is going to be the same prompt every time. And then here, again, we should, I'm not, best practice would make this into a custom value as well, the personality. All right. But I showed you how to do that, so I don't want to just kind of repeat myself. I want to show you guys how to do these things, but I don't want to be like too crazy redundant, Question. All right. Hi, contact first name. Thank you for sending details about your property and whatever. We already asked this, so we don't want to ask this right again. So, say this is, it is great to mention your name, say, or the user, right? Whoever they're going to be talking to. So I do, hey, this is user first name. We are still taking a look into your property you submitted to us. What, this would be a day later? It's only a day. Yesterday. So into your property you submitted yesterday. I'm gonna maybe we just ask a different question. You can reference the old text, right? I mean, they're gonna see it. It's if they read this one, the other text will be right above it. So if they miss that one, or sometimes you read a text, and you're just like, oh, I'll reply to that later, and you forget. That happens too. So I sometimes I'm like, okay, I asked that one question. They didn't want to tell me. They didn't want to tell me why they wanted to sell. All right, that's fine. So they just didn't want to reply. Maybe I'll ask them like, do you know, the names on who's on the deed, right? Who's on the deed? You asked about mortgage, and like, so hey, we are still taking a look into your property you submitted. Have a few questions. Yeah. Do you know who is on the name on the deed? I actually phrase it. I usually say, like the name that's registered at the county. There's lots of different ways. Um, so you can ask this however you want. I think I would rather, honestly. I'm just thinking, okay, we asked them why they're wanting to sell. They didn't answer. So maybe we just see if they want to chat, if they just want to book a call. We have a few questions. Are you interested, or could we give you a call? That could be good. But then it's really defeats the purpose. We're trying to lead qualify them. All right. We're building in public here. Okay. Your property you submitted to us yesterday. We have a few questions. Um, are there any liens on the property? So if you're doing a foreclosure site, let's say, right, because they didn't tell us, right, why they're selling. If they said, oh, foreclosure, then we're like, okay, that's a stupid question. Okay. And if they owned it outright, probably, yeah, they probably wouldn't be coming here, right? They're a lot of times they're in stressful situations. So, not all the time, of course. We have a few questions. Are there any liens on the property? Or I think let's ask let's ask who's on the property. I think that might be actually pretty good, because if we say who owns it, then one of the lead qualifying aspects is like, you don't want to necessarily. It's hard to deal with properties that have multiple owners. It's kind of becomes it's much harder to make a deal when you have more decision makers. So let's kind of figure that out. What I want to say, what's the what's the name? Of course, I misspell everything. It's fat thumbs. All right. What we have a few questions. What's the name on the deed? Righty. Let's just leave it as this. We're gonna have that 60 minutes, because if not, we're sending them that ringless voicemail. It's SMS. Skip if answered, yeah. Doesn't matter. They haven't answered it, definitely. So it doesn't quite matter if that's on or not. Yeah, we'll save. Okay. So first question, right? Why are you thinking of selling? If they don't answer, they're going to get another text the next day saying, hey, we have a few more questions. What's the name on the deed? So hopefully, boom, they have both those questions now in the same text. And hopefully they're replying and going to be answering both of them for you. Let's go on to this branch here. If they answered the question. So now it's like, okay, the answer, I like to gauge now, okay, now they started the conversation. What does that mean? Well, I would now like to get to the nitty gritty of seeing really how motivated they are. So I would think the next question would be like, how quickly are you wanting to sell? How quickly do you want to sell? I think that's a huge one. Because, well, and you could phrase it as like, hey, how quickly do you want to sell on a scale to 1 being, a couple years, to 5 being in a month, right? And then you can have the AI basically make a score based on what they said of like how soon they want to actually sell. Because if they're not in a huge hurry, chances are they're not that serious in selling, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We'll copy pasta. All right. So again, it's all the same. We copied, pasted it. High contact first name. We don't need that. We already said hi and they ain't replied. So now it's would be totally, I'd say I totally, because if they had probably, and so this is also real quick. I'm not going to do it here, but what I would actually do, this is version 1. I would then make like, 2.0, where this conversation bot, branches out to basically a little bit more sentimental analysis, right? Was it the reason they're selling sad, negative, those types of things? Because then that conversation could be, this is huge for like pre-foreclosures, right? Things like that, where you're leveraging the emotions, you're, expressing, tactical empathy, right? It's just mirroring the recipient. And the cool thing too is, I mean, these bots know what's going on, right? They know this bot was talking, they see the past conversations, they know what's going on, so they're not oblivious. And sometimes, the responses, you'll be I'm always surprised to be like, well, they sometimes respond with the craziest stuff, and you're just like, wow, that was really thoughtful, but yeah, okay, so let's move on with this question. I understand, why they want to sell. Now we want to know how quickly, right? If we could make a deal, how quickly are you wanting to sell? Again, there's different ways you can do this. Like, you can make a score 1 to 5, and then how you do that then is have a basically the GPT AI that then looks at that response and then categorizes it for you in I'm not going to build that now because I don't have that. It's a custom field. You just got to go in a custom contact field and build that out. But I'm not. That's a different video. But that's something we could definitely do. Timeout 1 day, channel, text. All right. All this looks good. It's the same thing, right? So with this text out, we can um, we want enable disable DND. So disable DND. We don't want all channels. We just want SMS. So basically, this will make sure that we can't text them again. All right. I don't usually. So what I usually do is I have a cold email, ringless voicemail, um, just anything but text that you still mailer, right? I automate the mailing so that when they get to a certain stage in a workflow, boom, it's going to the printing house and getting sent a pre-designed postcard. You know what I mean? So I like to have that workflow. It's just basically a no text workflow. You're not going to get text. It's where like the landline phones go. It's where anybody that I get that doesn't have a phone, right? They go in that workflow. So anyway, here we go. We want to do that. And then every out, I just do go to. Okay. And then basically they'll just all go to here. And same with this one. We're going to go to enable there. All right. So here we go. So they answer the question. They go to conversation AI. Now, what else do you want to get from them? All right. Now you got they want they want to sell. They fill out the form. Boom. You know, you have why they want to sell. That you have those details. You now have how soon they want to sell, and from there, well, here, this is what I'll do. Sorry, we got to do this part, or else it doesn't work right. So since we're asking them here, right? I understand we can make a deal. How quickly are you wanting to sell? We want to basically say, hey, AI, do they want to sell quickly, or do they want to sell, down the road? So let's give them those options here. So instead of saying answered question, we're going to say wants to sell quickly. This is going to be say answered that they want to sell quickly. We'll say like within. Well, this depends. It depends on your strategy. Some people I know are like, if they don't want to sell within 3 months, get them out of here. Some people like novations, so they sit there and they can drag it on for a while. So it really depends on your whole strategy here, on how quickly, how urgent they want, how urgent are those sellers that you want to be actually spending time on the phone with. So we're going to say recipient answered that they want to sell quickly within 3 months. All right. And then we're going to add another condition. And, well, I'll just make this out because I like to keep things a little organized. And then this is going to be doesn't want to sell quickly. Recipient wants to sell after 3 months. All right. Oh, what? The name should have a length of 2 to, dude, what? Um, that's kind of weird. Not sell quickly. It looks stupid. All right, we are gonna move you. Oh, we gotta delete you. Okay, this is go to. Okay. All right. Conversation AI. How quickly you want to sell? Timeout. Wants to sell quickly. I sell quickly. So if they timed out, you can do a couple of things here. What I you could have this go on, or I don't know. Again, the iron's hot. They filled out the form. They responded to your text already. I'd maybe just follow up with another text, right? Being like, hey, didn't get a response. Um, just following up. So let's just go ahead and yeah, we'll copy paste again. And I'm going to ask the same thing again because it's like we want to know. We want to know. All right. So this one, I'm going to say, hi, first name, contact first name. Here, whoop. Boom. There you go. We'll save that. And just making sure this is set for a day for the timeouts. That's great. Okay. Now let's do wants to sell quickly. So if they want to sell quickly, let's do it. Let's get them on the phone, right? So let's go to our appointment booking AI. We're just gonna pick a random. Oh, actually, it wasn't. Ah, there you go. Team members could be whoever, right? Could be you, and you could assign it to whoever you want. But I'd imagine if you have a team, whoever is whoever is the user, right? That it's assigned to, you'd want to have it on their calendar, I'd imagine. Because even if it's on like this calendar, if it's this team member, it'll pop up on their personal calendar if they have one, right? So that way you don't have double bookings, right, on one calendar and then another one. Because you could override availability. See, that's where this is all comes into play. That's why it looks so weird. I was like, where's the AI part? I didn't click the AI. Duh. Man. Rookie mistake. Where are you? Appointment booking conversation AI. That's what we're looking for. All right. Calendar. Boom. So this prompt is pretty decent. Now, what I would recommend, and I'm going to leave this as is so that when we do the testing, you see how it is on a default, and how you can go in and change the prompt so that, let's say, because right now how it usually works is the AI will just be like, hey, great, would you like to schedule a call? And then they'll be like, yeah, and then it'll be like, all right, what time is best for you to what day works for you? And it could be like, anytime, yes, tomorrow. And then AI will just fill up the text with all the different time slots that are open, and it just looks kind of it's not very it doesn't look natural, right? So what I like to do is prompt the appointment bot that, hey, if don't recommend a list of times, you know, just book them at the time that is most available to them. So if they said anytime tomorrow, I it likely just book the first appointment available for tomorrow, and then say, okay, cool. How does blank AM 10 a.m. tomorrow sound? Cool. All right, and then it will send a confirmation if you want it, of course. Um, Maximum message is 10. That's fine. The appointment bot doesn't really send that many texts. It's just usually like back and forth, just getting the date down. And the big thing with this is making sure that the calendar you're using, the settings, um, aren't conflicting with what you're telling the bot, right? Because I've had a lot of times when people are like, it's not scheduling, or it's scheduling, or it's not recommending the right times and stuff like that. But then you go look at the calendar, and the calendar's set to like have 2 days worth of space in between meetings and like weird settings like that. So you got to have the calendar set up um, to make it easy for the bot, or else the AI is gonna it's gonna mess it up. Especially, also tell it, like, give it in the prompt, and like, if someone wants to book on a Saturday, tell them, no, kick rocks. You got to book on a Monday, like whatever. Tell the AI to do that, because sometimes I've had it, it's blocked out of the calendar, but it'll say okay, and then it'll just schedule it for Monday, and it wasn't, and they said Saturday on the text, and it can get messy. So just make sure, obviously test it and everything, but make sure that the calendar makes sense, so that the bot doesn't mess up when he's messing around with it. Yes, we're on text message here. Don't let the bot send confirmation message. This is I usually leave it on. Sometimes it sends a message and a confirmation message, so that's why it's like, put it in your prompt. If you want a confirmation, maybe say it in the prompt, because um, sometimes it'll naturally be like, okay, sounds good, got you all scheduled, and that's it. But if it says that and you have this not clicked, it could say thanks, you're all scheduled, and then I'll have like a generic confirmation. Your appointment's confirmed for this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know, mess around with that, but just know, and as you experiment with it, um, the yeah, you could do however you want. You could tell the bot not to have a confirmation, and let this ride and see what happens. Um, but I usually send the confirmation message. It just depends. It really depends. It's a per case scenario, really. Um, Wait time in responding, I'm just going to do 10. I think that's fine. Um, and that's pretty much it for that. I don't have really anything after this, because as soon as they book an appointment, um, it is, that they automatically go into the appointment reminder workflow, where it's just going to be constantly sending them, not constantly, but like, hey, Joe Bob, just a reminder that our calls in 24 hours, or in an hour, right? So that's all done in that workflow, and that's already automated. But if they don't book an appointment, that's where you want to continue this thread. A lot of times it's just like, I'll come back with a conversation bot just to fire up a conversation, like, hey, yo, didn't book an appointment yesterday. could I just get is today a good time to chat? Something like that. Maybe that's what we'll build out. And then at that point, could just make it a task for you to give them a call, right? You can launch a call right here through the app, so then it just starts calling them. Could do that too, you know. So a couple ways around there, but let's finish some of these uh, branches here. Doesn't want to sell quickly. What I would do is, yeah, if they don't want to sell quickly, right? If it's not within the time frame that you want, say, I understand, you know, we are really just looking to uh, make deals in the near future. Let me know if anything changes. Uh, have a good one. Peace. And then put them on a workflow that um, that it's a long term. Hit them up in a few months. Hit them up in 3 months. Right after, if they said like you could have a workflow. I usually do 3 months, 6 months, and a year. It's kind of my workflow nurturing process. So if someone's like, yeah, not really in a hurry at all, like whatever, maybe throw them on a 6 month. If they're like, in like maybe 5 months, something, I'll be like, okay, throw them on the 3 month, something like that. So then you're like in front of them still before they're maybe making that decision. Um, but let's just do a generic text here, and I'll just say, I totally get it. We are currently to properties that can close within 3 months. Why did I type that? We're currently only looking to purchase properties that can close within 3 months. Now, you could do an AI. I'm just doing this to kind of show you a step and just throwing a generic text message in here. But you could definitely have an AI doing this and just saying, is there any possible way you can do sooner? You know, um, and that would probably that'd be great. That's smart because it basically is just like, yeah, we're not interested now. Take your cards off the table, see if they're like, oh, maybe I can make something work out. Something like that. All right, we'll just leave that there. And then we're going to say, we'll just send them to I don't have, right. We're just going to make that up. But yeah, you'd want this workflow to be right. Your long-term nurture. Don't have that built out right now in this demo account, but you get the idea from that. All right, so let's move on with the appointment. All right, wants to sell quickly, time's out. They don't actually respond at all. So a lot of times I just send them right back. Like, let's go. Like, what? You're not going to respond to me? You're not gonna. You went through this whole conversation and you're not gonna say anything back. What's up with that? So you could do that. I might let's do like let's give them another ringless voicemail or a ringless voicemail. Say, hey, you haven't you did not book an appointment. Hit me up. And then I would, you can say, we'll do a wait. Let's do a day. Sure. Now I would not. Here, I will copy all actions because it'll basically be the same thing. So boom, we're trying to get him on an appointment again. Okay. So we didn't hear from him. Gave him a ringless voicemail. Said, hey, we want to book a call. Now it's great. You want them to call you back. So that's perfect. Wait, you could also just, let's make a task as well. Like here, we're going to create a task. And if you're like on here and you're ready to, you could just launch the call. You just say, okay, well, they didn't book a call. I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna call them right now. That's what you can do. Um, but for now, I'm just gonna do a task. All right. Let's. Why can't I find it? Update notes. No. Add task at the bottom, of course. All right. Call didn't respond to appointment bot. Okay. Oh yeah, we definitely want it to be the assigned user. Oops. Let's do now. So lots of ways that you could manage that whole deal, right? And then I would maybe, let's just say, follow for the sake of it. We'll just do this. This is the lazy way to do it. So if they didn't book, it's kind of like it's almost the same. Well, it would depend why they didn't book. It could be that here, what I do is actually add task. What I do a lot of times is add this in a pipeline, because if like they say, okay, they get asked a question, they responded, but they didn't book. Um, sometimes that's an AI issue. So you might want to see like how that conversation went, because maybe it was talking in circles or something, and then there might be something you need to do with the AI. So you want to kind of almost create alarms for yourself in here, so that it's like, okay, this didn't happen. Let me look into it, and it doesn't usually, most of the time, right? I would say it's over 80%. If they get this far, if they've asked or answered, 2 to 3 questions of yours, and then they get to the appointment booking part, they're gonna book a call, right? They're gonna book something on your calendar. A lot of times, or it's sometimes it's just like they're like, just call me now, just call me now, something like that. You can, let's say, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Oh, let's add a brand. Oh no, that won't work, will it? So what I would do, okay, that's right. I would have to do it so that we're having AI basically analysis of the reply. So um, it understands what they were saying. But yeah, basically, if they're just like, "Hey, call me now," you're gonna want to get that message. And the appointment AI bot, if in the prompt, you would have to tell it like how to handle that situation, right? If they say call me now, um, you could send it and launch a call. You know what I mean? Like uh, do something like that, or just be like, have the reply say, okay, we're on it, and we will just add a task. Okay, and like this here, we're just going to copy that, and it's going to be the same task here. Oh shoot, get that out of here. Okay, and this is going to be call now, something like that. Didn't book with appointment bot. Okay, so here we go. This is looking, let's back up and just see how large we've got this going on right now. So you can see you can build a pretty decent sized workflow. This could get crazy. So I think we've done this pretty good. So basically, we're wanting them to get to this appointment booked. Let's finish out this part, this end of the workflow. We'll wrap this up, and then that'll be it for this lesson. And then we'll go into testing, coming back in here, editing, that kind of thing, because that's this is only the beginning of it, right? We've just built out a workflow, but we don't know how well the AI is going to be handling certain circumstances. So we'll try to run through all those tests in the next one, and then it's just tweaking the AI, kind of like how you want it to sound and whatnot. So that's why I also left a lot of the things really default, because that way you can really see how it looks when it's didn't really prompt it to do that much, versus when you're constantly prompting it and changing and training the AI, and how it increases, the behavior just gets better. Let's save this real quick so we don't lose it. All right, let's move on over here. We timed out. We have this conversation AI. This said, hey, this is so-and-so. We're still taking a look into your property submitted to us yesterday. We have a few questions. What's the name on the deed, right? We just threw out a different question to try to see if we get a different, so let's see if we get a reply from them, right? Timeout. I'm going to leave this for now, but we can be sending emails, probably another conversation AI, those kinds of things. But again, this is only day 2, so not too bad. I really want to, if you're like day 5 and you're hitting them up 5 times and they still haven't replied to you, it's like, it's not going to happen. They're not going to reply, So move on, put them on the long-term workflow, hit them up in 3-6 months. I'd maybe do it a 3-month, just because they did fill out the form. So they were thinking about it. Let's hit them up a little sooner than later, but we don't need to be, being a dead horse here, so to say. Out, right, goes to that answered question. All right, so what happened when they answered this question? They went right here. So I would just have it funnel right there, because we basically want them now to come down through the steps that we're having everyone else do. You don't have to build each little branch its own thing. If you have that's why we built this part out first, because this way we can just have certain stages just funnel into this, and it's going to continue through what we already built. We don't need to reinvent everything all the time. So we're just going to do go to and save, and we're going to go here, because they haven't been asked this, right? So this is, how quickly do you want to sell? Not why, right? Because here we asked why you want to sell. Okay, they didn't answer. So here it's okay. What's the name on the deed? They answered. Okay, now it's when do you want to sell? So we're asking this question so that now we can try to get them to our 2 questions answered, at least get them in the booking bot, try to get on the calendar, right? Because this is how we're going to figure out how quickly they're going to be selling. Now, you might be looking out for something else. I've done this several different ways. It really just depends, obviously, like the types of properties you guys are targeting, and what you're really looking for a quality lead? Like what in your buy box and in what in your system is a hot leads, a motivated seller? It's different for all investors, you know what I mean? But I'm just using this as an example. Moving on. We are here. Okay, so if they time out, they go to this one. Hey, first name, didn't hear back from you yesterday. How quickly are you wanting to sell? We are asking you again. Again. We want that answer. And now here we have pretty much the same options. They are the same options. So let's go ahead and just link these up. Again, no reason to continue each individual branch individually. That does not make sense. You'll go insane. You'll go insane. Not sell quickly. So where we had that over here. Okay. So we're going to then again go to here. So it's the same step. Okay. All right. Sounds good. We don't really want your property anyway. And we have, anyways, that works out. Wants to sell quickly. Well, we have a path for that already, don't we? It's the booking bot. Send them to the appointment booking bot. All right, and no, with no condition met, it's rare that ever really happens, but it could. It's rare. On the way I build these out, it doesn't. I really rarely get no condition met. But what I usually do is on all of these, I'll another like alarm system. So it will ping me, and that basically gets me to troubleshoot the workflow and kind of see if something happened that kind of broke or let down or something was missing in the context details. Really, it ends up in no condition if something's broken. Right. That's kind of what I've learned. So I just create kind of alarm systems, and we'll do that in a sec. But first, let's just figure out what we're going to do here when we hit timeout. All right. So we asked them again, and they just don't want to talk to us anymore. And so this is where I'd say, okay, well, maybe we could just give them a call. Could do that. Add a task, give them a call, give them a voicemail, do something like that. Could throw it over here, and continue this leg. But I wouldn't. I think about where you can move people into different branches that exist that are very similar states in the workflow. Because if you continue just to keep building out these branches customly, you are gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a massive workflow, and I built them. When I first started doing this, I built them, and they were massive. In fact, I built it to where it was just like, you can't build anymore. Like we're not gonna let you. It's too ridiculous. And so keep it simple, okay? Since they timed out here, maybe it's I would maybe just do here and say, hey, let's try to give them a call, or one more reminder. Let's maybe say let's do a ringless voicemail and see if they give us a call, okay? Because it's great if they give us a call, because then we know that they're motivated, right? And so that would be nice. Instead of us having to chase them and do the lead qualifying ourselves. That's what we're trying to get away from. And since these guys they answered two questions. They answered two questions to be here. So that's why I'm like, okay, send them the ringless voicemail. I want them to call me now. So I should have just copied pasta, but that's okay. And then, we'll do a wait. All right. And we'll go. You just don't want these to be dead ends. You don't want to create dead ends. You want them. The only dead end, right, is the appointment booking, because hey, they get shoved out of the workflow. This workflow, they go into the appointment booking workflow. All right. So that one's fine. You could even send it to them or whatever. I just leave it like that because it's the end. They completed it. Yeah, so that's how that works out. And then as far as these ones, right, you don't want it to be a dead end. So um again, let's clean these up. Let's go to if it timed out here. Um at this point, so this would be we asked appointment, we did all these reminders, we just tried again to book the freaking appointment. I would at this, you've already probably tried to call them up here. It was a task. So it's pretty tough here. It's almost like, do you send these guys to a long-term workflow? Try one more time. Again, I would test these out, different ways. It's awesome because you can make different workflows, have people funnel in different workflows evenly, and then you're able to really kind of see which workflows are performing better, and change them, right? So at this point, I'm just going to say we're going to send them to a different workflow. Whoops. And that workflow will just be, we'll send it to this one. So go to add to workflow. Boom. Because these are just going to go to long-term workflows, right? We'll hit them up in a few months, whatever. Appointment not booked. We have a system for that, don't we? Now the issue is it's just going to recycle them through what they just went. So I would maybe you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I would just create a task to call them. That's what I would do at this point. So we're going to say copy that action. It's the same one. You could just do go to there. That's fine. That's fine. No wrong answers there. All right, let's save our workflow. So I think that's it. I think we closed up our loose ends. Oh, right. Of course, we have I always do this last because once you're done, you're like, okay, the branches, I'm not going to have any more of these branches being made. Now I'll do create a task, or and that really, it just is, again, it just kind of gives me a notification alarm of like, hey, this condition wasn't met, and you can kind of go look and see what is broken, or what happened. Right, add task, of course. So we call now. We're just gonna. Oh, right. Of course, I gotta say this. No, I'm not doing call now. Forgot. This is no condition met. This video has gone on too long. This takes a lot longer when I'm talking. That's for sure. Description. Condition not met. Review workflow. You can call this we buy home form. Okay. Boom. Now, there we go. Now we're just going to basically go to, and we will build these out for all of them. All right. Just like this. All right. Should be good. All right. We're good. No loose ends. Sweet, guys. All right. That's it for this video. That took forever. But this is how crazy workflows can get. This actually got pretty decent in size. Like I was saying earlier, you can, and I would probably recommend it. You make these pretty micro. You could basically just say question 1 workflow, question 2 workflow, question 3. So you could have the steps individually in different workflows. That could be easier for you to manage than having something large like this. At the same time, it's nice because it's like we have this one form workflow. Boom. It goes, the steps are all here. Everything for this particular purpose, it's just for the form, is right here. So yeah, that's why this works out great. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. The next video, we're going to be going over testing this out, right? Actually running through it, texting with the AI, having conversations, trying to break it, and then go back and troubleshoot it, how to look through like the execution logs, thing like that, just to figure out what's broken and how to fix it. Because that's what it's really all about now. This is the easy part, just building this out. Now we have to go in and actually make sure that it's working properly. And it's I always say, like, it's not going to be a home run right out of the gate. It never is. There's always something that you didn't think of before when you were building it out, and that's why the testing afterwards is crucial, because that's what's really going to get this dialed down to be a perfect flow. All right, thanks guys. Tune in next time. Thank you for watching.